Welcome to our podcast. I'm Stacey Donadio,
And I'm Shannon Fasone from Turnkey Women.
where we're opening doors for women in business.
Cheers.
Hey, welcome back. We are here with two very special women and for a very special reason. I'm actually here, and we have in the middle with us, all of you know, our girl Lauren Farrell from Jooicy, Tits, Vodka. I'm actually going to throw it to you to introduce somebody who I know you have a very special, long relationship with, and we can get into exactly why we're all sitting here together. So, Lauren, I'm going to give it to you to intro.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us at Shared Universe, and Shannon and Stacey, as always, at Turnkey Women. You all are amazing and continue to give us platforms and outreach to continue to get our brand out, but also more importantly, our mission. And a big piece of that is next to me, Paula Flory, who is the founder of Move Over Breast Cancer. So I know a lot of you already know about them, but those who do not, they are an amazing nonprofit founded by Paula. And she drives a mobile resource van and salon around and brings curated services to women undergoing treatment, particularly for
Amazing.
breast cancer. So I'm going to ping it to Paula, who's finally here in the flesh.
In
and
the
can speak
flesh,
to-
yes. And if you haven't, go to, she's on Instagram at Move Over Breast Cancer.
Yes.
This is a hot little van.
It is a hot little van. It's chic.
It's super
and-
cool.
And it's dope. And we love
Definitely. Definitely. It's
and we
gorgeous.
love
And you
it.
want to be inside it. Like every time I see the
do.
pictures. But tell us how it all got started and why this became such an important mission for you.
it. Okay, well, first, thank you, Turnkey Women.
Of
Thanks,
course.
Lauren, Jooicy
It's
Tits.
our pleasure.
This began, it was really just happened because of my own breast cancer. So I was diagnosed 13 plus years ago, and I was really having a tough time during my treatment and felt alone and lonely, and just had this moment of clarity one day when I thought maybe this is all happening for a greater purpose, and I needed to do something, learn from this experience and do something for other people. And I tell this story all the time. It was just like, boom, this moment of clarity when I was like, okay, embrace it, just go with it. And so I started working for another breast cancer organization about 2 years after my diagnosis. And I began to really learn how to support women who were going through breast cancer. And I met so many amazing people, and I really just kind of got my experience because I had the context for it. I had the education. I would have a master's in counseling.
Wow.
And I had managed fitness programs, so it was all kind of coming together. But I felt like, I worked for a larger nonprofit and that I could do more. And I wanted my autonomy. And I always knew that bringing resources directly to individuals who are facing this scary, challenging time and bringing it in an unexpected and innovative and cool way
So cool.
would be just bringing just a ray of sunshine
Joy.
during a really difficult time. So I had this vision, and everyone told me I was crazy. You're going to what? You're going to have a bus? What are you going to do? And so I'm like, you know what?
We shop on trolley, so that fits in with
Yeah,
where
so
our
I'm
guys
like,
at. This
zip
is
it.
next
Because
level.
you know what? If you tell me I
Yeah.
can't do something, I'm going to do it.
Good for you.
And I feel like I'm a vision person, and vision people often don't execute. Like, we love to have great
Yes,
ideas.
yes.
And Lauren can understand this because I'm sure there are lots of people who want to start their own liquor brand.
Yeah.
But you have to execute, and that's the hard part. So anyway,
that, yeah.
yada, yada, yada.
That's a
did
big
it.
yada yada because tell everybody, and like I said, you have to go see the van. Tell us why the services that you provide are so important and what those services are so we can better understand where that van goes. How do you get in contact with these women? How can people get in contact with you in case they have somebody that would be important for them? So tell us all about that.
So people get in contact with us in many different ways, including social media, but we know a lot of people in the whole cancer world, so oncology groups and hospitals, and we distribute our brochures, but it's mostly word of mouth. So if a woman knows me or has recently been diagnosed and her friend had received services for Move Over Breast Cancer, then, the word just spreads that way. And they'll call me, they'll text me, they'll send an inquiry through the website. And so it's just, it really just happens, and it happens frequently.
Wow.
That's how they get in contact. And so we really tailor our visits with the van to where the person is in their whole breast cancer journey. And I kind of hate the whole journey thing, because it makes it sound like, I don't know, like I don't know what the right word is, but their breast cancer experience.
Yeah, experience.
But sometimes it's very early in their diagnosis, and so people don't know what they need. But when they call me, we have like a great conversation, because it's like, look, I've been there, so I can mentor people through the process. And sometimes it's too early for a van visit, because they don't even really have a full diagnosis yet. So I'm kind of helping to navigate them through this really difficult maze through diagnosis and figuring out treatment and picking doctors. We do nothing clinical, but I can give them some guidance as to what questions to ask their doctors.
So
and
important.
How to figure that out. Like, do you want to choose a doctor based on geography because it's close to your home, or do you want to choose a team that maybe has more experience with your specific diagnosis?
Right.
So that's an important piece of the puzzle. But then if somebody's going through treatment, then we'll do a van visit. Even if they're doing something like cold capping, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it saves your hair. But it is a process, and some insurances don't cover it, and some facilities don't really have the resources to help people do it. But it's a cooling system for your head that you use that preserves your hair, and it works quite well for a lot of people. That wasn't available to me back when I was diagnosed. I probably would have done it, because that's really a difficult piece of the puzzle. So we do wigs, we do mastectomy wear. I'm a certified mastectomy bra and prosthesis fitter. And like I said, I am a counselor, so we really have a great rapport. And everything we do is 100% free of charge, but that's not the most important piece of it. And you can go other places for wigs. You can buy a wig on Amazon. You can go to another organization. It's about what the magic that happens on that van, the connection. I can be the face of hope for people, because they look at me. They're like, "You had a mastectomy?" And right away, eyes go right there. Like, "You look good." And you know what? I flashed them. Yeah, this is what it looks like. There's so much nudity in that van.
Teary on that one. Jeez.
There's nudity in the van, and that's okay, because that's all a part of it. I want women to understand what it can look like. Like, everyone is different. Everyone has a different kind of surgery. Yeah. Not everyone gets a mastectomy, but there's some comfort in that relationship that they develop with me, because I'm not guarded at all. Like, I wear it all out there because I need to share the things that other organizations, that your doctors, that other people in your life cannot or are not comfortable sharing.
Right. The darkness of a diagnosis is a time period that can really sink somebody's ship, in a part where I imagine that's when you have to have the most clarity to make the most important decisions. So to have somebody bridging that, I would think that the light at the end, the light in any part of it is like, I can't even speak right now. I can understand the depth of what that would mean for somebody.
Yeah,
so,
and when you pull up at their house in this phenomenal looking van, somebody said to me, "Oh, it's like the circus is coming to town," because you pull up, it's bright, it's cheerful, it's approachable, but it's not cheesy. Right. It's a salon-like environment in there. Yeah. And it brings levity. It's unexpected. People can be having a really difficult day. They can be feeling, really under the weather and very sad from their treatments, and they walk on the van and it's like, boom, it's a ray of light. And
love it.
And we do so much laughing on that van.
That's
my
amazing.
goal is always to bring levity to a difficult situation, but of course I understand it's serious. Of course we're professional.
You know more than anybody.
And where there's laughter, but there are tears too, and there's a lot of connection. And there's never been one person who's come on that van who hasn't left smiling and feeling like, wow, that was a good day. Even when I'm shaving someone's head, for them, I had a woman say to me, this has been the best day ever. And it started out as the worst day ever because she was sobbing about losing her hair. She had her daughters come on the van, and they were like, so upset about their mother having to lose her hair and was facing this dire diagnosis. And we had the best day ever. And it's just to be able to be a part of that and to give that to someone, to show up for someone in that way, it just makes what I went through worth it.
What a gift that you give. It's amazing.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
amazing.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really incredible. So tell me how you guys connected. And for all of you who I think should at this point know that let's bring some levity now, Lauren parties with a purpose. And I think now knowing Paula, even for this few minutes of hearing what you do for so many amazing women, and now I get the connection and how this is just so natural and why we're all drawn to, well, both of you, because Lauren, tell us what you do in relation to Move Over Breast Cancer.
So we donate a portion of our profits from vodka and merchandise sales to Move Over Breast Cancer. And we actually met back from my real estate days. I was connected to a woman I was working for a GC at the time. She was in furniture, and she knew about Jooicy being on the back burner at this point, kind of in the early stages. And she said, oh my gosh, you have to meet my friend Paula. She's an amazing survivor. She has a nonprofit. She's incredible, and she will just get it. And so I believe she introduced us over email first.
Yes.
We had a preliminary phone call. We just kind of hit it off, and you said the keyword levity.
Yes.
Where I always say Jooicy and our mission and our partying for a purpose is to bring levity to something so heavy. And that's the consistent feedback that we've gotten from the breast cancer community.
Wow.
So it was kind of that natural synergy of knowing keyword being levity to make the best or the lightest out of a horrible situation.
Right.
And how can we do that together? And I always said, and I continue to say to Paula, that the fact that we're both smaller scale right now, we can have that much more of an impact as we continue to do amazing things together.
And you are 100%. And like I always think about it, and when anybody's going through something, those moments of joy and happiness is literally the progression forward. And like for somebody in any situation, you have to have that, like that hope, those smiles. Like I get the tears. We all have the tears have to be there too, but you have to have the other side to help your body heal in so many ways. And I think what you guys are doing is absolutely incredible. I can imagine that van showing up and the sadness you would feel that it has to show up is completely washed away by what you're bringing to the doorstep. So I feel very honored to have you on our podcast.
Thank you.
And I know you have, we could talk about some of the October events going on. So people who would love to attend or find out, immediately how they can support Move Over Breast Cancer. Tell us what events you have coming up, because I know you got a big one coming, right?
We have our largest and most important fundraiser of the year is Pink Links Charity Golf Tournament. That is happening on October 28th at Forsgate Country Club. And we have so much fun at that event.
It looks like it. The pictures look like
It's
such a good...
really-
Stacy and I are coming this year.
Yes.
We're not... I don't play golf because it puts my back out, but I'll be at the dinner.
Come hang
Fantastic.
and we have a tent during
yes,
the day.
Yes,
Yes.
and Jooicy's going to be there.
Yes.
Lauren will be there with her tent, mixing cocktails, and she's our vodka sponsor, so it's fantastic.
I love it. And the link is in your bio on your Instagram that they can buy tickets at, correct?
there. Yes.
Okay. Move Over Breast Cancer on Instagram. So what does that event look like? Like obviously you're golfing, but it looked like somebody was shooting
Yes.
something.
Yes, there's a lot of
There was
shenanigans.
a lot. I was like, this party is legit. Looks like
It's a legit party.
a good time.
Yes, we have on-course games. So our board treasurer, Paul, is a fantastic human being and a friend,
Wonderful.
and he's a golfer. And so he goes to a lot of charity golf events and is like, you have to bring the fun.
I agree.
And so he and I have come up with some great ways to engage people other than just, putting and I don't know. I'm not a golfer, so I don't know, whatever you do on a golf course. So
I know there's balls.
Yes, there are balls.
You hit them.
So there's an air cannon. So instead of hitting the ball with your club, you shoot it out of this air cannon.
And you get an extra 100 yards or so. I did it
Yeah.
last year.
And it's like, everybody's like, wow. And this year we have a helicopter drop. So what's happening with that is, I know, everybody's like, what? What are you doing? So
No, in a great way.
So you get a ball with a number on it, and on one of the holes, a helicopter drops the balls over the hole, and whoever gets it closer to the hole, like whatever number drops there, that's who wins a $500
Wait,
gift
did
card.
you come up with this?
No, there are companies that do this kind of thing.
I'm like,
And so in researching, we're like,
My
we have to
gosh.
do that. So now they're like, well, you have to go up in the helicopter. I'm like, I do?
oh yeah, you do.
You should. Are you going
Wait,
So
are
I
you?
think I'm going to go up in the helicopter.
amazing.
But I don't want to be the one to dump the balls. Like I think
Oh,
that
I don't think you need to go to that length.
I don't
I think
so.
being in
'Cause
there, in and
I
of
could
itself,
just that could really be like some good PR if I like
I mean, oh
tumble out of the helicopter. It wouldn't be good. So
I feel like you would gracefully tumble, like you would, and then like at the end, throw your hand up,
Yeah,
and
I
like
don't know.
everybody would start clapping. I think that's a moment that you should maybe consider,
well, maybe.
maybe. But going in and of itself, that's a lot.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That is
so
a good one.
So lots of things are happening on the golf course.
Awesome.
And then in the evening we have a silent auction, we have a prize raffle, and we have speakers, and it's a good night.
And what golf course? And
It's Forest Gate Country Club.
Forest Gate.
2 golf courses, and
Wow.
So it's a big event, and it takes a lot of our energy, but
Sure.
it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Because in addition to it funding our visits in the van, which we haven't spoken about yet, is
Yeah.
the community of survivors and thrivers that we have created because of those visits that we've made in the van. So we have weekly walks, we have support groups. We have a retreat that we do every year. This year we're going to St. George, Utah, to Zion National Park, and we climb and we eat good food, and we have great groups, and it's all 100% free of charge. People can apply to do that. We have a ballroom dance program. We have nutrition classes and healthy eating, and the list just goes on, and social stuff. So we've really built a community of wonderful women who are supporting one another.
I love that.
Because the journey just doesn't end, again,
Right.
that word journey, but it doesn't end when your treatments are over, because there's no cure. It's chronic for a lot of us, and so we need to continue to uplift one another and talk each other through all of the tougher times. So that's our biggest event. Really helps us to do all of that important work, and thank you, Lauren, for supporting it, because we really rely on that event for the great work that we're doing in the community. And then we have a lot of events.
I'm sure you're booked and busy this
we're
month.
booked.
We
and
booked
busy.
you, and we were like, "Do you think we could get her?" And Lauren's like, "She can come."
Which is, it's so funny to me that we're like booking out like 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance, because people really want us there. Because the van is a showpiece.
Sure
it
is.
really is. And it's a lot of fun. And people love to come on and take photos. But the important thing is that we're building awareness
Right.
for what programs and support services we can provide to the breast cancer and cancer community at large. Because
Right.
if somebody has a different cancer, I'm not going to say, sorry,
Right.
we don't do lung, like
Right.
there are some, obviously breast cancer is my expertise, so to speak,
Right.
but it's important for people to understand that they're not going to get turned away because they don't have breast cancer. So we're there for everyone.
Beautiful. That's amazing. So when we decided that, like, I say don't ever talk before the podcast, and we came in, and when you meet somebody, you just click, and like the energy's right, and the energy was right in here for sure. And when you talk about community, it's so important, and that community that you're building. So last year we had we changed our schedule of events, and I was very upset with us, Turnkey, me, that we didn't have you in our world sooner. And this year, when we were doing our schedule of events, we contacted Lauren, and like in a second, she had the place, she had people, she was promoting, she went into full go mode, right? That's what
Absolutely.
you did, and she was there was such a pride. She's been to so many events for us, and this one I could tell is so different for you. And seeing you guys together, you have a real relationship and friendship that seems to go deeper than, sponsorship, as we all start to learn in these worlds when we make these connections with women. And I imagine your community, there are many women that stay there and in a role such as yourself and talk other women through, and it just continues to build and build, and then you get the men who come in and they support, and it just becomes everybody doing our part for people going through something that is unimaginable, right? I
Absolutely.
can't even begin to imagine those days of the lows, and then you meet someone like Paula and you're just like completely lifted up. That's a lifelong bond. I bet you know women for years for this.
I do, and that's why I work 24/7. But sometimes I don't know if it's work. Is it not work? Even when I drive over here, people were texting me and just I'm just checking in to see how you're doing, and it continues my own healing.
Sure.
From it, because the relationships are so deep and they're complex because we're brought together by something so difficult. But it really becomes about just being women, and we help each other through lots of things. It's not just breast cancer, so it's all about the network, and it's all about really lifting each other up and helping each other through tough times and celebrating the good times.
Now, in Move Over Breast Cancer, your actual organization, do you ask for volunteers? Is everybody, are there roles that people could play if they're not necessarily licensed in some sort of capacity to do the actual services such as yourself? How can every woman or man that wants to get involved in that way?
100%. We're always looking for volunteers, and if someone has a special skill, like if they're a photographer, that is always so valuable because we would love to have a real photographer at our various events, or even sometimes showing up when we have, an education event where we're helping people to understand how to do self-exam and how to reduce their risk of breast cancer. It would be wonderful to have someone who's a good photographer. We're always looking for people in PR. We love to have people who are good writers who can help us with content for our website. So, no matter what your skill is, or even if you just have the desire to give and to help people, there's always a place for volunteers, and we can train people how to respond because, it's heavy stuff.
Right.
I like the first point of contact to be me personally.
Yeah.
But that may have to change as we grow. And
you're growing,
and I hope.
I see a fleet, like a large.
I see a fleet too.
Amazing.
I see a fleet too, and I tell people that all the time. There's going to be a fleet because we have a system, we have a process that can be replicated.
Totally.
That's half the battle.
But we are a 501c3,
right?
So the most challenging piece of it is fundraising,
right?
And when people say, I want one of your vans, I can do this mission. But you can't do the mission without doing the fundraising because we rely on the generosity of the community to do the work.
Right.
Because without
fundraising is a lot of work.
It's so much work.
It's a lot of work.
And I can't justify at this point raising funds so that we can hire a real professional development person to raise funds because most nonprofits have that.
Right.
But, people need to be paid a good wage, so I can't. It's very, very difficult to justify bringing in funds, and some funders don't want to fund staff.
Right.
So it's a conundrum.
It's. I've worked in the nonprofit world, and that was always a back and forth. You see both sides to it, right? Like donors want their money to go to what they're donating to, but you need those people to make it to be able to scale. So it's definitely one of those things that the greater good is the greater good.
People are programs.
Yeah.
Like I can't have a program without having people to run
100%.
them. So, that is really of paramount importance. So anyone who's interested in donating their time to help us figuring out fundraising strategies, somebody who's worked in that world, we are more than happy to bring people into our circle so that we can figure out how to help more people who are facing cancer.
We should have a think tank one day.
I was
I
literally
love
like,
that.
as you're talking, I'm like, okay, so I had like 5 people just listed in my head that I
I
know
love that.
are probably going to watch this. And before I can even say, hey, so and so, I'm not going to call you out, but I'll call you out in private for sure in your DMs like I do. But I personally have been in that nonprofit world, and I would love to jump on board in
Yay.
any capacity.
Yay.
Yes.
I mean, this feels like the start of that as far as a very, let's just get everybody together. But I would love to make this so much more than obviously a happy hour, which is awesome of networking. But I would definitely like to be one of those people
I
without
love that.
question.
Thank you so much. And that means so much.
This
and
is-
I love the idea
yeah.
of the think tank.
Yes.
Yeah, like getting all these women together. Like Lauren and I feel like there's been this surge lately, especially within the turnkey community of you start to see when other women step up in any capacity for you for no other reason than to see you feel better or do better or succeed. That energy just is like, you can't explain it. And then
when it's genuine.
right.
Which
Yes.
is what it is with the turnkey women, which is what it is with you and what I've seen from your community, Paula.
What
So
it
I
is
think
with you when you're sitting in the
yes.
middle connecting that it's funny. I'll tell a quick story that's unrelated, but there was somebody that you had met and you wanted to introduce us to, totally unrelated to this, and something was like, I don't know, it was I won't say why, but we were a little hesitant, and then I said to Stacey, I'm like, Lauren is connecting us. Like, that's the only thing I need to hear. If Lauren is giving her the okay, then we're going to meet with this person regardless. And we met, and she was wonderful. And it was like, duh. Like, you show up all the time for other women. You show up all the time for other women. Like, the women watching this, and this is not excluding men. Sorry again, Christian. Christian's always here when we say these things. This is not a dig. This is not a dig. But there is something very powerful when women and they take the action on it. Like, everybody can say, I want to, I would, I will. But when you actually do, it literally is life-changing. And those words, I'm sure, are super heavy in your world, in your community. And the fact that you're bringing this lighter side to it, I think also brings a much healthier approach to your psyche, right? Like
100%. I mean, attitude about it is
Yeah.
everything. I mean, we really can't change what's happening, but we
Right.
can change our response to it.
yeah.
And there are going to be tough days. You're going to feel sick. It's inevitable, but you have to have the support and people to turn to, and you have to just, kind of just flip the switch in your brain, like, I can do this. And
Having somebody so accessible like you are, like literally is a lifeline.
I agree.
I think it's like when women are in those moments and it's like, I can't talk to my husband about this, or I don't want to burden my friend with this, or whatever it is, to have somebody so relatable that's been through it and has an organization that's literally opening their arms to those kinds of moments and questions. I don't even know how you even explain what that feels like, looks like, but I can only imagine the moments that you've talked many, many women through what could have been a darker hour than they wanted to have to sit in alone.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope to be able to continue to do it for as long as I can.
Well, I think that's inevitable. The universe feels a very important energy here to push that forward. And I know that once we start to even mention it in this group that we have going on, that we're going to be full force behind, which brings us to the event that we do
Yes.
have coming up. And Lauren has reached out to her contacts. Lauren, why don't you tell us about the event that we have coming up?
So October 22nd, it's a Tuesday night. Centrata in Red Bank, which is usually only open on Wednesdays through Sundays, is opening just for us to host our very special event where we're partnering Turnkey Women with Move Over Breast Cancer. We're having a little breast cancer themed happy hour. All are welcome. We have links to Eventbrite. It's $25 a ticket. There's going to be drinks, little bites, and of course, amazing networking connections and incredible things that I'm sure are going to happen.
It's going to be a
in
lot of
that
fun.
room.
A lot of fun. Lauren, Jooicy Tits, tell everybody what's on the menu.
We have our first ever cocktail on a real menu. It's printed. I was there a couple nights ago and I asked the waiter, I said, can I take this menu
I
home?
love
I
it.
said, this is our first ever. I'm framing it.
I
It's
was going to say, yeah, frame that.
It's called the Cosmo. It's a classic cosmopolitan with Jooicy Tits vodka, and obviously super exciting to be on the menu. And it's obviously a cute little pink drink, so perfect for October and beyond.
I love that. And all ticket proceeds are obviously donated to Move Over Breast Cancer. And we also thought it'd be really cool since connections and collaborations and community is what we're all about. And fun. We've added fun as a value because somebody said the other day, like, I didn't know networking could be this much fun. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like everything should be this much fun, right? There is a side to life that we need to celebrate and embrace and harness that energy. So we partnered with Christina from Cased Clothing in Asbury Park. She's now doing T-shirt presses. So we designed a little T-shirt. I'm going to hold it up. It's got all of our logos, and it says, "We wear pink." And we're going to be selling these on Christina's site. And all proceeds from these T-shirts are going to go to Move Over Breast Cancer. We're going to do it till the end of November. And if there's a demand, we're going to keep doing it as long as everybody wants to buy them. And we want to put this money where the services and the help on a day-to-day basis are going for so many women who really, really need those moments and direction. I think the guidance part of it is something that really resonated for me, is that moment when you hear that in that news, like everything might collapse, and to know there's a resource that can help navigate you through it that's best for you is life-changing. So what you guys do from your initial call all the way to showing up in that van to the community to beyond is absolutely amazing. When Lauren mentioned you many, many times, we wanted to get involved. I know all of you turnkey women want to get involved, jump on board. There are so many talented women out there that can help and support all of these women going through something that is really, really tough. And I have no doubt I'm going to be getting lots of DMs, and so are you. And
Fantastic.
we wish you all the luck at your big event. Tell us again the date and where they can get tickets, and then again mention where they can find all the information about Move Over Breast Cancer.
So everything can be found on our website. It's moveoverbreastcancer.org. You can register for our golf tournament, which is on October 28th. It's a Monday. It's a noon shotgun start, and it's at Forsgate Country Club in Monroe Township, New Jersey. And it's going to be a phenomenal, fun time with our air cannon and our helicopter drop and our Jooicy Tits vodka sponsorship with a is it the little pink bikini?
Yep,
is that
little
what,
pink bikini.
Little
It's
pink
our signature
bikini is
drink.
the drink. It's going to be just such a great time. So yes, go to moveoverbreastcancer.org to register, to learn more. Please follow us at Move Over Breast Cancer on Instagram, and we just look forward to all of it. We're so grateful for Turnkey, meeting new women and inviting people into our circle is what it's all about. So thank you, Lauren, for the introduction.
Yes.
Really appreciated it a lot. We can't
Same.
move forward or grow without it.
I'm so excited to see where this all goes.
It's going to go. It's going to go. I have no doubt. There are some real action women in this world, and I can see that is where you come from, and you have pushed forth. It's not easy doing a nonprofit.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
It isn't.
It's hard work.
And within that, I just need to mention
Please
quickly
do.
that, people really think that when they reach a certain age that they can't do something new. And I was 47 when I was diagnosed, and I started this, I was over 50. I don't even remember how old I was, but I was over 50. And that was another piece of what people said to me. You're going to start something new at this age? People don't listen to women who are, menopausal, whatever. You know what? That's all a bunch of BS as far as I'm concerned. You can do anything you want to do at any age. Just have the gumption and take the steps to do it, and surround yourself with people who will lift you up instead of pushing you away and holding you down.
I think that's the perfect note to end on. I think you
Me too.
summed it up perfectly. Paula, thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
girls, I'm putting a call to action out to all my turnkey women. Shoot us some DMs and jump in, because we certainly are. Move Over Breast Cancer. Buy your tickets for October 22nd. Meet us in Centrata for some great networking. And again, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.